So we're gonna change this tube on this here front tire because it keeps going flat, and flat front tires on dirt bikes are no fun. So as good a time as any for Mr. Landon to learn how to change a tube on a dirt bike tire.
I don't know how to.
That's why I said learn, goober. Okay, well, let's dig in. First step is to get the front tire and wheel out of the bike. Open end, box end. And the box end hits 6 different points around the nut, where the open end only hits 2. Here, right there, and right there when you're wrenching on it. So the box end gives you 6 points of contact, so it has more grip. But let's be smart.
Okay, let me do it.
Dun da da!
Dun 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 dun.
So you can get smart.
Smarter. That opposite way.
It's going the correct way. More. There we go.
Hey, that nut is hot.
There you go. Now we gotta hold up on the wheel, otherwise it's gonna fall. I'm gonna slide this guy out. And then you can't just yank it off because you got your brake to deal with, so we need to slide that.
Hub off?
This is your
brake cylinder.
Your drum brake.
Oh.
All right.
Okay, now where's the tube?
Well, first things first.
We need to
We
take it
gotta
off.
we gotta get the
There's
tire
those
off.
little things that go, take it
Get
off.
the tire off the rim. We're gonna take this little spacer out and just set it
Is
aside.
that grease?
That is grease.
Oh, that's much better.
Hang on, stop for a second. Okay, see how this is at an angle? So it's like the tube is trying to spin around. So it might be.
Well, it's really down. That's probably why. Oh, it's because we rode it with the tire pretty flat.
Okay, so this is the trickiest part about changing dirt bike tires or
Is
tubes.
trying to get it off?
Is getting it off, and there's a lot of people have a hard time with it. So a lot of people pay people to do this because it is kind of a pain in the butt. And my brother one time lost his fingernail doing it. So you do have to be careful.
When he did it, what did he do? Yeah.
Tire
These-
levers. This tire is smaller than this area of the wheel. So the key is you have to get the wheel kind of crooked from the tire so that it has slack so it can come off. So I usually start like part way around from the valve core just because that's kind of fatter there. And then you want to push the tire up into the wheel kind of. And so you can watch it right there. As you push this up, you can see it gives you slack on that side. And then you take
Oh, I see. I remember
take-
now.
Let me get you started. I'll let you try the other side.
I know how to do it now. I know
So
how
you
to do it
take
now.
that curved end and you're gonna hook it in
I know how to do
on
it
the
now.
tire and then lever it down. And then you can see it still has a lot of tension and it shouldn't be that hard. But
All
it's
while
because-
keeping pressure on.
Yeah, I'm
over
keeping
there.
it up here, but because this is still out, so you need it out, you need it down in the groove all the way around to give you the slack to get it to pop over.
Just
So
like
if
that?
you're having to apply a ton of force, you're probably doing something wrong. It takes some force for sure, but if you're having to apply a ton of force, probably doing something wrong. Daisy wants to be in the video.
I guess so. Hey, Rexy, you want to be in the video too?
So the next step is to get, you need to get as close as you can to that
Oh, okay.
of the spoon. Another thing we could do, okay, you got it hooked now. Go ahead. Pull.
Hey, Ken, I think you're in the danger zone from this flying. You do it.
And,
I can get it.
Well,
I'm not strong enough.
okay, so hang on. So now that you got it hooked, let go. Now that you got it hooked, if it won't pop, you can slide it.
Oh.
Slide it over a little closer, and then it'll go easier. And sometimes it's nice to have 3 spoons. I don't have 3 spoons.
You only have 2?
So I'll just carefully pull that one out of there and come over here and get another bite.
Is there a real telltale sign of when you have it bit?
You can kind of, you see I'm kind of moving it around. I'm kind of pulling out as I'm moving it around so I can feel if it's hooked on the inside of the tire.
Yeah.
You have to be careful here too. I mean, if you were just changing the tire and not the tube, you'd want to be careful not to hit the tube with the spoon.
Oh, so you don't puncture the
Yeah, 'cause
tube or
you can
anything?
pinch the tube.
But
Try to get that down in there. Direction too. So hang on.
Let's try doing the other
So we'll go on
direction.
this side. I'll push that down, give myself a little bit of room. Okay, I felt it kind of go past. You gonna
Okay.
pull on it, Landon? The other thing that would help is we could put a little bit of lube on it right now.
Which takes the form of Simple Green?
Yep. Or Dawn dish soap mixed with water in a
Where's the other
sprayer.
one?
Which also, is that, or no, that'd be the way to test if the tube
You
had
can
holes
spray
in it.
soapy water on the tube and test for holes.
But obviously, we know that this tube is.
We know this one is bad. Push
Seems-
it in until you can feel it kind of go past, or maybe you can see it. You gotta be careful with your fingers in there because that's how Uncle Bobby lost his fingernail.
Was like slam his finger against.
I wasn't there, but I think the tire, either the tire pulled back in and scraped his finger off, or the spoon caught the end of it and pulled it off. I wasn't there. I just saw the aftermath.
of baby fingers.
So once you get really like the first couple pops, it goes pretty easy from there. So you can take bigger bites too. And if you push down on this, there, okay, did you see how it went by? There you go. Now probably just one more. Push down on this. There you go. Okay, now
Now this one.
that's probably, well, you may not even need to do that because we might be able to just slide it up in to the tire. But okay, that's probably enough for this side.
And then do you do it on the opposite
Well,
on the
if
other
you're
side?
changing the tire, if you're actually changing the tire, then I would flip it over and I would pull it off that side, and then you can slide the wheel up into the tire and then pull it out, rather than having to try
I want to
and
keep doing
pull.
this. It's fun.
The entire.
Pull. Yeah, sometimes that's easier than trying to get the tire over the wheel.
Is to just
that way.
take or push the wheel out of the
So
tire.
once we get to here, you can kind of just push it down into there, and you can peel the tire off fairly easy. Like just, well, man hands, maybe not kid hands.
Yeah.
So we need to get the tube out. But yeah, go ahead and spoon it off a couple more times there. And push it down so you can get your spoon past the bead area of the tire. There you go. Ta-da!
Wait, one more time. Push
Yeah,
it.
push it down.
Ta-da!
So now we can pull the tire, get that tube out of there. You want to try this, or it's kind of a, because you got to get that tube to slide through there, and it's kind of a tight squeeze in there.
You do it. I'm not getting my fingers pinched.
Tanner, you want to try? Oh, I got it.
You got it?
Dun 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 dun.
The tube.
Lay tube. And then we're just gonna pull it through that opening
Is it easier?
all the way around.
Is it easier to get the tube in than out?
She did. So then, I'm gonna take these guys off.
Yeah, we need those. I think we need those.
I don't know what everybody else does, but I leave one of these nuts on the valve stem because it tightens up against the wheel in there.
Here, I'll take the things.
So
I want to keep the extra
that's
nut.
what I do.
I'm keeping
The other thing we need
extra
to do is inspect this strip because that rubber strip there seals the spokes, or not seals, but protects the tube. The rubber strip protects the tube against the spoke.
ends of the spokes.
Yeah, the spoke nipples.
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 They are, the spoke nipples are kind of sharpish. So that just protects. And so you want to make sure there's no tear. So we got to get that through the hole down inside here.
Through the hole.
And sometimes it can be just downright difficult.
And sometimes it can be just easy.
Because you got to get it in there, but the tire's in the way. So you have to slide this over, but then you lose all your space for your fingies. I think there's actually a tool that you can feed through there and then like screw it onto the valve core and pull it through. But I've always just struggled with it and got it through there eventually.
Never know, this one might be the easy one.
Probably spoke too soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now you done it.
I mean, I said you never know.
Oh.
Yay!
All right, ta-da! I got my fat finger and tire and got the proper angle of the dangle and got it through there. We had that nut landed. So then, just to make sure that guy doesn't pull back through, I'll stick this nut on there while I'm holding it, and just on there a little bit, just a little bit. That way it can't. That way it can't go back through. So you want to try to stuff that tube up in there, or shall I?
Slide.
So you just need to lift up. There you go. Lift up the tire and then work the tube into the tire all the way around.
So is there a specific method you're supposed to use, or just kind of stuff it in there and semi-straight?
And hope for the best.
Well, just try and stuff it in all the way around. The fact that the tube is about the right size will kind of distribute itself evenly. At this point, just try to get it all in there. And then I'll go around and try and make sure that it's not underneath anything.
It's not supposed to be.
Yeah, you don't want it bunched up like you just did, but you'll get it once you put this into there.
It'll
pull
stretch
out
it back
that little
out.
kink that you have there. And so you need it to go down inside. You need the tube to go down inside. There's this area of the wheel on the inside is kind of a cavity. And that's where you need the tube down inside. So then once you think you have it all the way around, then you can
Air it up.
inspect it. See, you don't have it quite in right there. So we'll tuck that down inside of there a little better. I'm gonna pull that. I'm still not gonna like tighten this, but
Are you gonna leave it on there?
yeah, that's gonna hold that in place. So now, just like coming off, you gotta get this one side
Which
tucked
is
in down into the groove.
The bead.
This is the bead area.
I'll try the first one.
Let's shoot a little lubricating soapiness on here.
Make it easier. To make it easier.
This actually really helps the tire spoons slide down in there and makes it less likely that you're going to pinch the tube. So, Landon,
Yes.
so you don't really want to start right here because that part of the tube, see this, where that is, it's kind of fat right there.
Oh.
So you don't really want to start right by
Like
that.
maybe right there. Do you use the curly part or do you use this?
To get started, I would use the straight part, but so you're gonna lift up on that a little bit, and you just put it in just a little bit. Hang on, don't get your fingers in there. Put it in just a little bit and make sure you don't have the tube. Okay, now don't worry about prying it all the way in because you need to come over here a little ways. And you can feel if you're on the tube.
Oh, it's right back out.
That seems dangerous. Oh.
Okay, so now, hang on, stop for a second. See, now I got this side of the bead hooked under one edge of the wheel. What I would do is
Go.
stick your knee on that There you go. And then kind of pull the wheel down into it. And then you can actually just push the tire on. Just start pushing that side down. You can go a ways around just pushing it. That way you're not having to stick tools in there. Every time you stick a tool in there, you're a little bit more likely to
Hit the tube.
yeah.
The tube.
So now you're gonna, what I do is I switch to the hook side and I'll slide it up in gently, hook the edge of the wheel, pull back, feel if I got the tube in there because you can kind of feel the rubbery tube. And that's
I want to do it.
when you really don't want to get the tube. A little soap on there. I'm just gonna show you. So there I'm feeling where the edge of that hook is on the edge of the rim. And then I know that I don't have the tube under there. And I got my knee, look over here, Tanner. I got my knee holding this down so it can't, you know, work its way back off. And then I'll put my hand and hold that down, come over here, grab another bite. Same thing. Feel if there's any rubber under it. It feels good. Roll it on. Hold it down again with my hand. This is getting to be about the hardest part of this job as far as going back on. That's probably too big of a bite, so you can slide it over. There you go. Now,
I don't feel whatever you
okay.
saying.
Push it towards your brother. There you go. This is probably where it would be good to have the second spoon. So after you get this one to lip over, hold it down,
Wait.
okay?
I don't feel it.
Okay, now push it down and hold it. Hold it with your left hand.
Here, Tanner, can you do that one?
You got it, Tanner? How many monkeys does it take to put a tube on or a tire back on?
It seems like about
So we're keeping, this is super important. A lot of people start getting to this spot. This is the hardest spot going back on.
Okay.
And it'll be so tight that they're just wrenching it and it's like, it just will not go. And if that's happening to you, then you need to check, follow my finger, Tanner. You need to check and make sure that the tire is deep into the wheel as it can possibly be. So we'll just double check that this is wedged up in there. So let me shoot some more. So, and then,
Ah.
so you might have to lift up on this a little bit to just get your spoon to go under. Okay, now slide it over here. I think you're good.
I think I have the
Slide
rubber.
it that way.
Do you feel it?
I think it's safe. Because if you try and take too big of a bite here, if you try and take too big of a bite, you come way over here and try to put that whole thing, it's gonna fight you. But if you come over here and just take this little bite that you're getting, then you should have success. Okay. And then, there we go.
There we go. Now
So
we're
as
done.
he's prying on that last little bit, then I pushed here, and that rolled it the rest of the way on.
Okay, you can take that off.
So now we got tire back on.
Now we just need to put it back on here.
Well, no, we gotta air it up.
Okay.
So
I'll be right.
we'll try to get that valve stem straight. And then another thing that I like to do, Landon, do you have that? Okay. Another thing I like to do is take the valve core out at this point, and then you can air it up, and then take your pump back off. And that'll push the tube out. You take the valve core out, then when you take the pump off, it lets the air back out. And then if the tube needs to reposition itself a little bit, it'll do it at that point. Where's that valve cap, bud? So that slot in there is actually a tool for taking the valve core out of the valve stem. That's the valve core. So that's what actually,
keeps air.
when you push this down, it opens that. That's what holds the air inside the tube.
So you
Set
push-
that guy aside. Put this on here. Go ahead and give her some pumps.
Tell me when I'm done.
So right now the tire is adjusting itself inside
So-
of the rim.
Yeah. Okay, stop, Landon. So we're just gonna
Or
we're just putting some air in there, And so we're watching to see that the tire beads up evenly around. But right now the tube could be kind of wrinkled up in some places. Theoretically it would be okay, but what I like to do is go ahead and take this off, let all the air back out of it. That way the tube can relax in there, and if it had like a weird wrinkle or something, it could relax out of it. And then we'll put the valve core back in. Okay. And we watch all the way around. There's like a line on the tire, and you want that to be a consistent distance away from the.
I'm talking about
You see that casting line?
that line right
So
there.
yeah, you just want that to be a consistent distance around. Sometimes it won't snap on. You'll see like that line dives under, and that's because the tire's not beaded up all the way. Okay, that's enough, bud. Flip her over. Look, if that tire doesn't want to bead up on there, these rims bead up really easy. If it doesn't want to bead up on there, then you got to take the air back out, push it off all the way around, maybe throw some lube on there, and then air it up again, and hopefully it'll bead up the next time.
I'll be right back.
This one beads up pretty easy. So now we can tighten up, and we can put it back on the bike.
I got it.
Ye old tire pressure gauge. Low pressure. Landon, come on, dude. We got a job to finish. She can't go there. £16.
What's a good number for a tire of this size?
Wow, it comes out quick. That's 11 already. It was 16. I let out like a fart's worth of air.
So you think it was not correct?
Well, 10 is probably a bit too low. I would think around 12 pounds. Less air typically means better grip, but it's also more likely to bottom out your tire and pinch the tube. So
Is bad.
which then you're changing it again, and we don't want to be doing that.
How many two?
So that's 13, so we'll roll with that. Ready to put this thing back on?
Yeah. Hey, where's that? Oh, this.
Hang on, we're not ready for that yet. You put the spacer back in here.
Why do you need a spacer?
That holds, that's for this fork to tighten up against. Oh, am I lifting it?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, you gotta put the brake back in then.
Only if I'm doing it wrong.
It just fits in there. Try to get a little wiggle like that. And then the brake, get this, Tanner. That brake actually slides up over that tab on the fork.
Which is right there.
And that's what the brake grabs against the fork so that it can work against the wheel.
So that it isn't just
Otherwise,
freely spinning.
Yeah, you're just spinning around. Okay, try and get that. Uh-oh, we lost our spacer. Stick it back up in there.
What spacer are we talking about over here?
The spacer that goes in between the bearing and the fork. Okay.
I'm gonna wipe my grease onto my pants.
The nut, Landon, is on the,
Oh.
that goes on there. Grab that 14.
Yeah, it's pushing on the other side now.
Grab that 14 wrench off the tool kit.
This.
Put it on there.
Okay. 1 second. Am I doing it right?
Well, it's kind of bent and curved. You could straighten it out a little bit, would probably help. There you go. So grab just one side of that.
So do I pinch it almost?
Squeeze it. Yeah, squeeze a little bit.
Hey, no, lick.
You only want to grab one leg of it, though. Imagine that pin has 2 legs. You want one.
And what is the cotter pin there for?
Keep
Yep.
it from coming up, this coming up.
Well, that way, if this nut were to loosen up, it would come up against that pin, and it wouldn't fall off. So you didn't have your front wheel fall off. There you go. More than one way to skin a cat, huh?
Don't skin cats. Well, you can skin like tigers and stuff.
Can I stick my finger on that?
Yeah.
Dun da da da! Hey, guess what? We can ride.
Kinda.
Why couldn't we?
So now we gotta do that one.
Oh yeah, we need to tighten the chain. All right, Tanner, what are we gonna do next?
Gonna tighten the chain on this here 140.
Why don't you go check it?
As you can see, it's awfully loose.
It's pretty sloppy.
It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be a little bit tighter than that.
Okay, let's tighten her up.
So, loosen this guy.
Yep. It's gonna take some force. You might push down on that other wrench on the other side.
Oh yeah, that might help.
Then you can have something to brace yourself against.
Hey, that's kind of tight.
Is this gonna require dad input?
Yes. Because that's about all I can do. Oh my god.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty snug. That ought to be loose enough on that guy.
Switch.
Switch.
Okay. Now we do. Hey, loosen that here, right?
Yep, you need to loosen up that jam nut.
With the
12.
12. Which seemed very loose for some reason.
Yeah, bad indication. That's loose enough because you're going to create more gap when you
Oh.
do the next step.
And then do we do it on both sides?
Yeah,
Okay.
that one's already loose though, so go ahead and grab that 10.
And tighten or loosen?
You're going to loosen, which is going to push the axle back. All right, let's stop there. Take a look at your marks here on the swing arm and see how it lines up against that block. You're the 1, 2, 3, 4th mark back. You're pretty much lined up with it. So now go to the other side and put that one to the 4th mark back as well.
Are you tightening the jam nut? Loosen that one. Yep. That'll probably do. That's loose enough. Line it up so that block is perfectly lined up with that 4th mark, and then we'll check the tension. You can see it moving as you push. I think that's out, right?
Okay. So why don't you sit on the bike? Put all your weight on it. Like sit as far back as you can. There you go. All right, be a fat man. All right, and then we'll just check. And yeah, we're still pretty sloppy. So as the swing arm moves up, the chain is going to get tighter because your chain is tensioned between the countershaft through the swing arm to the rear sprocket. And when those are all in a straight line, that's as long as it's going to be. So we need to get as close as we can to that to check our tension, because then we're trying to get it so that it's snug but not super tight when it's at that fully tensioned area. So we're pretty close to straight through right now, and we still have quite a bit of slop. Okay, now take your weight off of it. See, it gets even looser.
I mean, let's stop and check it there. So, go ahead and sit on it. Sit on it, Poppy! That's getting close. I'll just give me that wrench and I'll give it a little bit while you're sitting on it. And we'll try and...
Speed this up. That's pretty much as tight as I'd want it to be at that point. Put Dad's fat butt on there, but you see there's a little bit of play in it still. But if we go any more, yeah, I think we'll roll with that. So we'll match the other side with that, and then should be good to go.
Okay. You see.
So now we didn't have to move it that much further to get that tension. So it's the block is all the way past that fourth line now.
So where's the 10? All the way past the fourth line?
Yeah. So go past that fourth line and then go look at the other side. You just want to try to get them matched up as close as possible, because that, if you have one that's back further than the other, it literally will point your wheel. You want your wheel pointed through the center of the bike.
Yeah.
That's about past. It's a fair bit past, so... I can check. Okay.
So then go ahead and tighten up your axle, the bigs.
Nope, you're gonna go down on that one now. Nope, that nut has like a nylock. There's a hole there, we could put one through. Are you holding up on the right side? Okay.
So then I would just back these out. You don't have to push on them real hard, but just back them out against the block and then tighten that jam nut against the swing arm.
So tighten this instead of loosen?
So you're, no, you're still loosening, but it's gonna push it against that block. Other way. Nope, that's enough. Just a little tension against it is all you want. And then I would probably finger that nut up snug. You're gonna want to put your 10 on and hold it from turning when you go to tighten up that 12. Could put a little mustard on her.
Don't want it to be like it was.
It doesn't have to be super tight, but it needs to be snug.
I'm ready to ride.
All right, now go do that on the other side too.
Bam.
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 One chain tightened. We'll throw some lube on it too because it's pretty crusty looking. But I think it's about time to ride.
Yeah. Sounds
Landon
good.
definitely thinks it's time to ride. Well, I built a new jump. Started it last Saturday and didn't work on it all week, but I finished it yesterday, which was Saturday. So, first day riding the new jump, Tanner rolled over it. Probably rolled over it 3 or 4 times and then sent it.